Hi, Clive and Kerry Daly from the Daily Hub here, and we're delighted to have Nikki Emerton with us. By secondary school students, she's known as the Brain Lady. From our point of view, every discussion just has advice and snippets just drooling off her tongue. So we're fantastic and delighted to have Nikki with us. Nikki, to kick us off at this time of people losing jobs, on furlough, not sure whether they'll be made redundant afterwards, or even some people that have lost their jobs now. What's the strategy or techniques that they should be employing at this time?
So I think the key strategies to employ at this time is quite often your first response is an emotional response. And that's normal because you've found yourself in a new situation that you haven't dealt with before. Let's face it, we've seen some pandemics, but nothing quite like this before. So be kind to yourself and recognise that quite often your first response is an emotional one. But then rapidly move on to gaining some perspective, because to be able to come out the other side, feeling that you've achieved or you've got somewhere to go, or you've got a plan in place if things are going wrong, you need to start applying a more of a rational perspective. There is a great technique that I can teach people called the Disney strategy, and we don't have time to do this here, but I'll kind of give you an oversight of what it is. So Walt Disney used this technique to create all of the fantastic films that he's done. And what he did is he had a very strategic step towards getting his goal of what he wanted to do. And he'd start off by taking all the options with no limits, no restrictions on them, almost dreaming a dream. That's what it's called, it's dreaming a dream. So write down all of your options. Don't try and do this all in your head, because then you're having a kind of like a battle between your emotional self and your rational self. Get it out on a piece of paper, because that helps with perspective too. And then when you've done that, start moving into a different zone, which is called the realist zone. And that's writing all the practical things, all the step-by-step things. And then make a list of all of those, making no judgment at this time, because what you're doing is going through a process which will then eliminate the stuff that isn't going to work, and which then will leave you with a number of options, preferably just a couple or maybe 3, that might work for you. And then you move into what's called the critic zone, when you start looking at the problems, the challenges that you'll face if you were to take any of these options forward. And very soon it kind of like creates a sieve of sort of loads of options down into what are the real reasonable ones that are likely to work for me. And then in the critic zone, what you can do is take any of the challenges or problems arise, you can take them back into dream. Dream a dream or create all the solutions possible to get over this challenge. So it's a really neat way of being able to prepare yourself or plan for future scenarios where you really don't have the answers, when you're not sure what's going to happen next because maybe you haven't done this before. So that would be my first step, is to create a strategy, to come up with a plan, a solution to get you out of the situation that you're in. Because one thing human beings hate is feeling hopeless or helpless.
Yeah, and I love that name, Dream a Dream. I guess we're thinking we dream a dream of times gone by. You know. I'm not going to sing it. I'm not going to sing it.
No.
Yeah, no, I love that analogy of looking at different options.
Yeah.
So once you've got all of those, then what's the next bit? I get decision-making process, I guess.
Well, decision-making process, and again, some people really don't like making decisions. Those people who like making decisions probably won't need any help or assistance anyway, because they've got a great strategy in place already. But if you find yourself worrying about what it is that you're going to do next, whether it's the right decision, the wrong decision, the what if questions that usually have a catastrophic outcome, is to say to yourself, do I have all of the information that I can possibly gather right now to hand? If the answer is yes, then you look at your options and you pick the best one for you. Because if you've already got all the information, there is no other decision to make. There's nothing left for you to decide upon. So just go with it. Because you don't have a crystal ball. Nobody has a crystal ball. But as long as, based on the information that you have to hand at that moment, you are making the best decision for you, that's the only decision that you can make at that time. If later down the line, you realise that maybe some new information has come to light, then it's time to apply the strategy again. How can I change what's happening next? And if you keep doing this, if you keep operating in this structured way of being, what happens is you don't have that inner, oh my God, why did you make that decision? It keeps you very much in, I made the best decision for me. I gathered all the information. I really structured it, looked at it with rationale and perspective, and I made the only decision that was best for me at that time. Things have moved on or things have changed. And things do, we all know that. If we transport ourselves back 3 months ago, who on earth would have predicted that would have been in this situation now? You wouldn't.
No.
Yeah.
No.
And it's about, as you say, it's also having that bravery to
adapt and change for things coming along.
Yeah, and live with it. Again, as I said at the start, great advice, just dripping from the tongue of the brain lady. So thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.